Hey everybody, this is Dr. Ben Pearl. So today I'm here with Scott at Brompton Junction in Georgetown.
Yeah.
Yep, and he's going to talk a little bit about these bikes as for performance, for everyday commuting, the portability of it. Let's get started.
All right, excellent. So a little history on the Brompton is that they were designed back in 1975 by a guy who, he had a small apartment. He wanted to take his bike on the train and he wanted to take it into work with him. So he came up with a design to fold the bike up so that way it didn't take up much room in his apartment. He could bring it onto the train with him with no problem. And then when he got to work, he could take it right on upstairs. And it covered that first and last mile to the train station to work, kind of idea. They went into production in the 80s, and what's kind of wild is they have not changed the design all that much. It's been refined, it's been cleaned up, there's been a lot of improvements. But the basic design has stayed the same since the 80s, and they're still kind of handmade there in the UK, in London, which is kind of also neat. When we were talking about a bike for somebody who would want to travel with a Brompton, who would be maybe more of a performance cyclist, someone who wants to be able to take something with them so that way they can actually continue their training while they're riding, we make a bike for that, and we call it the T-Line. Now the T may or may not stand for titanium, but for our purposes, let's just go ahead and say this is just about every aspect of it. So that way they can make this bike as light as possible.
Oh yeah, oh my word.
Yeah. We have two different flavors. One is a 4-speed, which ends up weighing about 17.5 pounds. This particular one is the 12-speed, which ends up weighing about 19.5-ish pounds or so. So still very lightweight, very much like a traditional kind of road bike. Even a full carbon road bike, but at this point we're using titanium. To kind of walk you through the fold and some of the cool attributes, because that's what we're all here for, is the fold, is first bit is we bring the handlebar up. What's neat about the handlebar coming up is we have wheels down here on the bottom that kind of roll. So that way you could use this as a grocery cart if you wanted to, or say you're running late for your train, you can pull it along behind you. So a lot of kind of cool functionality there. We also have a bunch of bags and baskets that mount right here on the front. So that way, if you were carrying something with you, you have a place to put all that stuff, which is really kind of convenient, especially if you're a commuter. We have bags, baskets, they all mount on there, and they do not interfere with the fold. When the seat post is down, this bike stays locked together, which is really nice. So if you're running up the stairs or running late for the train, it doesn't fall apart on you when you're actually trying to get there. But once you bring that seat post up, you can bring the front wheel forward. This is parking mode, basically. You don't need a kickstand on the bike, it supports itself. You could go through your front bag at this point if you wanted to. You could talk to a friend, but you don't necessarily need a kickstand because it's all right there. Last bit is we kick that rear wheel out, and now we have a bike. On the clever design elements, the P and the T line use this quick release pedal, just a platform pedal, and you slot that into the quick release junction here on the non-drive crank arm, and you're ready to ride.
And the purpose of being able to take that out just for more compactability, or?
Correct, and when you're walking with it, and here I'll do the quick fold just to show it off right quick, so that way you get a good idea of it, is when you're walking with the bike,
not raising your shin.
It's not whacking you in the leg while you're doing it. You just walk to where you're going. Our traditional bike uses a folding pedal for show and tell. That pedal just folds up, and that's the way it was originally designed and still in use today. Again, cleaned up, but about the same design. But with this particular bike, because it's a little bit nicer, we wanted it a little bit lighter and have a little bit better performance. We use that pedal system, which has much nicer bearings and such.
Well, just to get a sense of how this would feel, I'm kind of was a roadie. I ride for fitness now more than anything, but just to get an idea, what do you tell people about the transition and the feel of this Brompton?
So the big thing with the Brompton is that you have smaller wheels. Can't get around it, right? So the 16-inch wheel is nice because it makes it much more maneuverable. If you're in city traffic, you can now kind of bob and weave a little bit more comfortably, get around obstacles better. It does take a moment to get used to though. So you'll get that muscle memory for how it responds. It's a little bit more responsive, but once you get used to it, it rides great. Rides just like a regular bicycle. And to the point of kind of how it compares to a traditional road bike, again, they redesigned everything. So now we actually have a full carbon fork up there with a carbon fiber steer. So that helps dampen your vibrations so you can ride stronger longer. We also have a carbon fiber handlebar equipped on this, and it comes in 2 different flavors, either the straight bar, which your performance riders would probably want more of, or a mid bar, which sits a little bit higher if you want to just be a little more relaxed while you're riding. Also features a carbon fiber crankset with external bottom brackets to help keep the weight down. The 12-speed drivetrain, which we'll kind of come back to here in a minute. And then this is actually a carbon fiber seat post, but it is wrapped in steel for protection from the quick release mechanism this way. Also on the fancy stuff, this is an ovalized or D-shaped saddle rail as well, just dropping weight in every place that they can.
Looks like they thought of every element on these redesigns.
And also on that saddle too, you can feel here it's rubberized. So when you hold the Brompton, you actually carry it by the front of the nose.
Perfect.
So they built it in so you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
Now to the point of kind of coming back to it, and this is where it really, I think, works well for a performance rider or somebody who's used to a traditional road bike experience or even just a fitness hybrid, is the 12-speed drivetrain ends up having the same kind of gear ratio as your 1x11. It has a really nice low, has a really nice high, and with those 4 kind of gears in the middle, you can find the position you want to be in so you can maintain the cadence that you want to maintain. Now sure, you may not be able to hammer as much as you would on your road bike, but you could also change out your chain ring. This one's a 50, you can go up to a 54, which will, again, if you are a stronger rider, be able to accommodate what you're putting out and allow you to maintain that little bit faster speed.
Well, at the risk of doing slapstick comedy, may I do you do this inside or outside? Or
do you want to fold it or just
give it a little ride?
Yeah, we can do the test ride. I have demo bikes for that though.
Perfect. So let's take a break and let's go through that.
Brilliant. The demo bike here we have is a 4-speed version. And so this works just like a traditional bike where you end up shifting while you're pedaling. 1 being the lowest, that's your easiest to pedal, 4 being the highest. That's where you're going to be putting in the most effort. Our other option is the 12-speed, where it adds a 3-speed internal shifter over here. Our demo bike just doesn't happen to have that. With the 12-speed, that's where you get that really wide range. And what's really neat is you can shift from your highest gear to your lowest gear without pedaling. So say you pulled up to a stop sign and you were cooking along and you forgot to downshift. Well, now at a full stop, you go from your highest to your lowest,
your low gear, and
then just start pedaling again when you're ready. In fact, it actually works better if you're not pedaling when you shift it. But
interesting.
Yeah, you're mostly just taking the power off the pedals, so that way when the gears change, they have a chance to engage with themselves, not under torque.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it. Any other questions, concerns before you head out?
No.
All right, rock and roll.
All right, so here we go. So the review. First off, it was amazingly easy transition from a road bike. The handling is great. I was surprised at how smooth it was. Really tight in the corners. I almost hit the curb when I was trying to do the little tight turns. So that's the one unique feature. It's got a very tight turning radius, which I wanted to just sort of challenge myself a little bit and see what that was all about. So A+ for this this Brompton. It's definitely, if you're traveling, this is the way to go. Well, Scott, I had a great ride with this. No surprise at how nimble it was. Talk to me a little bit about travel. There's some definite advantages when you jump on a flight.
Right, so there's a couple different ways of traveling with the Brompton. We have a couple of different cases, a couple of different ways of traveling with it. We do have a B&W suitcase. This is from B&W. It's a standard piece of luggage. It's actually quite nice. When you open this up, the bike fits inside of there. You just fold it down. You do have to remove the saddle, and then boom, it's just in there. And this is great for checked luggage. With the T-line being about the sub 20 pounds, this is going to give you also some wiggle room to put a few extra bits and pieces in there, because it'll come in way under 50 pounds with the T-line inside. So you can still carry a few more things, which is kind of cool. So
translation, if you're looking at a bag charge with the light line, does that count as just a regular checked piece of luggage? Or?
It depends on the airline, but coming in under 50 pounds, the dimensions are still checked luggage. And so you still should be under that 50-pound gratis that like things like Southwest and stuff offer like that. So you shouldn't actually have to pay extra for traveling with your bike.
Perfect.
We also have a soft case if that's more your flavor. Only consideration with the soft case is this is a soft case, and airlines are sometimes not the most gentle. But what's nice with this one is it actually breaks down and lays flat on itself, and then this strap becomes your backpack strap. So if you were going somewhere, either by train or a plane, and you use this, you could fold up this package, put it on your back, and then ride off on your bike and not have to worry about carrying your luggage with you. The other fun thing about Bromptons is, you have to check with your airline provider, they fold up and go in the overhead bins.
Oh,
I have
nice.
many customers that will do that, fold it up, put it in the overhead bin. Sometimes they need to remove the saddle to make sure it fits okay. It generally has to be on one of the larger planes, but it is the thing that people do and a thing that can be done. So in theory, you might not even need a luggage carrier. You can just put it in there.
Like right out of the airport.
Right.
So if you're thinking about one of these, you were telling me for your middle of the line, you can come in just south of 2000.
Right, our classic bike, the C-Line, steel frame, handmade there in London, just south of 2000. There's a couple different configurations that you can do, a couple accessories you could add, but that would also fit in here. Just may not feel as sporty as the T-Line.
And if people want to try it other than taking a demo at the shop, but try it for a month, what options potentially are available?
So it is tricky. I would say that if you can get to a Brompton Junction, we have one here in DC, we have one in New York, and we'll have some others down the road. Bike dealers, a lot of shops offer test rides on their Bromptons. They'll have one or two in stock, maybe not the full lineup, but something so you can test ride it and see how it feels. We've in the past run a subscription service where you could rent or subscribe to a bike. You only get the C-Line at that point, but you can see how it fits in your life and if you like it.
And that'll be inventory dependent.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so like right
dependent.
now we're not running it,
Yeah.
but it is a program that will run again kind of idea.
Well, this is great. This is a great idea for the holidays if you really want to surprise something with something really cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this,
you're very
Scott.
welcome. Yeah,
Until
thanks
next
for
time,
coming
this
in.
is Dr. Ben Pearl with Fifth Foot U.